Good afternoon or morning. There could be morning. There's a whole 24 hours in the world at all times. There's always 24 hours. Always. Think about that. There's always 24 hours in the world. Why is this so bright here? It's not really that bright in here. It's almost dark in here, and yet that's very bright. And that's a gray rubber mat, and it's looking very white. The window I could see bleaching out, but why that is. What's up, Mike? But there's still 24 hours. Actually, there's still 24 hours. What's up, Justin? I haven't been on Discord, but I'll look when I get done here. There's actually 25 hours, if depending on whether it's going back and forth. Actually, there's always 25 hours, even if it's going back and forth, because there's always some areas that don't do daylight savings. So you'll never have an area that doesn't have the 24 hours, even though some areas will only have 23, and then some will have 25 on the other end. Yeah, but there's areas that don't do daylight savings switching, so you'll never have it go away. They're always there. Although if they're in between and you're not getting that, okay. Yeah, all right. It's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. So anyway, yesterday, my CNC freaking blew up. Like seriously twisted and went kaputz all for this little $1.99 bearing. This here bearing is a lipped bearing. Has a little lip. And that's what holds the tension on this here rod. That moves the Y gantry back and forth. And the actual lip ripped off. And the whole thing went kabunk, and the whole CNC went kabunk, and it was just not a pretty thing, and it was cutting, and it was very loud, and the earth is flat. The earth is flat, man, and there is no time zone. So I live in the only real time zone. There's only one. Blue tape does suck. It just is really good at sucking. It sucks so bad, it's awesome. Actually, yeah, whatever. I really don't use. Actually, I use blue tape on this thing more than I use it on the 3D printers nowadays. Talking of 3D printing, so anyways, I have a new bearing coming. I kind of straightened this thing out as best I could without the bearing to drive it to square it up. So, yeah, the problem is at least these bearings are coming today. The actual thrust bearing, my drag nut. The actual thrust bearing got damaged some too, and I don't know if I'll be able to get it out, but it still rolls and everything. The lipped bearing is coming today, Amazon fast. I was going to order them direct through Open Builds, but they look exactly the same. Open Builds not only wanted like $5 a bearing, they wanted, and I'm pretty sure the same brand because I looked at the little brand labeling on here. No, he did Open Builds, and I love Open Builds. Don't get me wrong; it's one of the best parts. This is basically like our 3D printers. It's all the same stuff. It's just bigger extrusion. But Open Builds carries all the 3D printing parts too. But they wanted like $5 a piece for the bearings. Buy 6 bearings because if I'm going to do them, I'm going to do them all. Because there's 2 there, 2 here, 2 and 2 on the Y, so there's 6. I'm not going to do them all. I'm going to just replace this one for now, but I'm going to check them all and have spares in case it happens again. But the actual thrust bearings, which if you don't know what a thrust bearing is, it's basically a bearing with 2 washers that are groove trapped around it, and it's designed to. These are designed to take your standard everyday force. It's designed to take your standard everyday bearing. It's designed to take force horizontal to the bearing. Right? Yeah, whatever. A thrust bearing takes, pressure in compression. so it spins smoother when you tighten it up. Blah, blah, blah. It got mildly damaged. It still rolls fine, it seems. I have new ones coming, but they won't come until Monday or Tuesday, even on Amazon. I just couldn't get them faster. Open builds wanted freaking, I ended up being like $25 for open builds, 2 weeks out, and they wanted $12 shipping, which that's the killer for open builds, is shipping. When you get a big machine, it's actually fairly cheap. They only charge you like $200 or $300, but I mean, literally, it's a baggie full of bearings for $12 in shipping. And I know what they're doing. They're using the same thing I'm doing, figured out doing the website. They're using the website / auto, configure for mailing. So basically, when you say, oh, you're shipping, and the little shipping window comes up and you get the options, they're not doing it. They're just, the website's just going to USPS and UPS and FedEx, and it's just showing what those estimate by weight. And they have minimums for that. And $12 is USPS minimum. Everything else is like $25 for a little. It's a little envelope. It's 12 bearings, 12 little baby bearings. Sorry, I want to get it from Open Builds, but I'm not going to pay $35 for something I got off of Amazon that's exactly the same for less than $15 shipped, and wait extra time for it. I mean, I don't mind a buck or two one way or another. I will spend an extra buck to get it from a reputable place where I know blah 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 blah. But yeah, no. Anyway, we were playing with this with one of my brothers, my second oldest brother yesterday, and my first oldest brother was playing with it the other day too. And these are my little clamp downs that you clamp your wood down with, and it traps it down. It's got a little knob and everything. It's all 3D printed, and I've hacked chops of them off, which is why I use 3D printing. But everyone was bitching about my little knobs here that I designed, which is just a 1/4-20 pushed into a 3D printed knob. Because it kind of hurt your hand. The way I designed it, it's flat, and the little ridges from the first layer are a little rough, sharp. So I redesigned it and just kind of curled the back a little bit. And these are definitely more comfortable. So there's an update. And I actually have new bolts because I wanted some other size. So let's put a couple of these together. And I did the Maker's Muse way of filling the little hole. I know you probably can't see it that far away, but there's just like 1 or 2 layers crossing here, so I don't have to use supports. So you just got to knock it out. Normally you can just push it out, but I think I did this at 2.4 or 2.6 layer height. So I'm going to have to cut it out. Probably should have done it inside because I got one of those buzzy seam tools, whatever you call them. But this should work. Yep, that works. And you center it in there, and you got to kind of press it in because it's tight. I might have to tap it in there. Let's get a tappity hammer. Oh, and I got to put my headset on because I'm just using the mic. Off the computer, I just thought of that. That'll work, and it's definitely more comfortable to I just back beveled the top edge or the bottom edge when it's printing top edge when you're using it, so it doesn't cut into your fingers as bad. And I really want a different length, but I think these are going to be too short. There's no in-between length. You either get whatever this is. I think this is 1 1/4 inches, and then it goes to 1 5/8 inches or something. There's nothing in between them. I'm thinking about taking a couple of these and cutting them down. These must be 2 inch. They are 2 inch. And these must be 1.5 inches. Yep. And I really want like 1 3/4 inches. These are sometimes too short, often, and these are just too long. They take not that they don't work, but they just take forever to thread down into the table. Which, I mean, all in all, is not a big deal. It's just a time suck that I don't want to deal with. Let me get the headphones on. Headphones. Your headset is connected. Has connected. Is it going through the headset now? The actual speaker probably works better when I'm just sitting here, but this allows me to walk around and not lose the mic. So anyways, I've got 6 new little diskies here to press together and clean up. So I might as well do that first. I wonder if I can just take a drill bit and punch that out even faster. I probably can, huh? Not drill my fingers. And drilling away. These are definitely going to be more comfortable. I'm going to have to add them right away to. These are all on printables.com. That's it. Everyone here has or uses these because you got to have one of these type of CNCs and use this type of frickin' hold down and blah blah blah. Which is why most of my stuff isn't all that popular on printables because it's very specific use cases. I had someone email me and be like, you should do more of this and that and the other thing because your stuff's cool, but it's you're not getting any views. Why aren't you getting any views? I said, because, when I make something for a DeWalt planer, you have to have a DeWalt planer. Not everyone has a DeWalt planer. Not everyone has one of these CNCs. Not everyone has. Most people don't. I'm not doing the generic. Where'd it go? Dropped on the floor somewhere. There it is. Hey, there's some screws down here too. Might as well grab them. And a couple of washers. Might as well grab them. All stuck under here. I got a vacuum under the table, I guess. Some screws. Yeah, drilling fingers is not good. And I think what I'll have to do is get like a board or something and drill a hole in it so I can pound those in without like doing it all sideways on the table. Or I can find 2 2x4s that are similar height and just put it in between them like this. Some scrapulations. And then you take this puppy and you just put it in between them. Line it up. And what I do with my tappy hammer. My little tappy hammer. Tap it in there. Tappity tap. Don't look back. Turn this around so I'm catching the whole edge of it and not just on this little screwed up part. And in she goes. I want more long ones
because I think I'm actually going to cut them down. I bought some more screws yesterday for just this purpose, so I can have. You never have one. These are like clamps. They are clamps, but they're like clamps. You can never have enough because you chew them up in the CNC. They do get chewed up. And there's another one. I want long ones first because, like I said, I think I'm going to cut them down about 1/4 of an inch. And I'll use this one for a shorty too, since I did one already. And that, my friends, is that. Wasn't that exciting? I have some printed solid slime green frickin' hold down nuts with less. And I should upload these right away. I don't know if you can see the difference, but this is just flat on the bed, and you get that little bit of elephant's foot, and you can sand it off and everything, but it's kind of a pain. This one, I just beveled it just slightly so it comes out, and even though it might elephant foot a little bit, your hand isn't really in contact with it. It actually feels sharp when you're trying to tighten it. That's definitely better, and it's such a minor thing. I don't know why I didn't think about it beforehand. It makes absolute common sense, but it's me. I have to hurt myself before I figure out how to do something right. So anyway, those are fixed. I will update my file on printables.com for them. We're at it, or whatever. Floats everyone's boat. The drill away, put everything away, put the box of scrap wood away. They just get thrown in the pile of shit over here on the floor. I got enough stuff here. So yeah, needless to say, my little CNC is down, my little big CNC machine, and I'm not happy about it. All because of one bearing. And I have a feeling I just over-torqued it. About a week ago, I went and did maintenance on the whole thing, just general check everything. And, the other reason it broke was this. So I went and tightened it, and I think I over-tightened it. Plus, I didn't tighten this bit while we were cutting. I didn't tighten a bit tight enough. And it actually started sliding out, and it cut like wicked down into my table first cut. So I'm wondering if it was cutting the plywood we were cutting, plus cut a good ½ inch into my table here, into the wasteboard. So I'm wondering if it was just putting too much force on it, and it, between me over tensioning it and it putting the force on it, just snapped that bearing. It was all dumbassery on my part, most likely. It pretty much always is. It's very upsetting though, because I actually have a lot of work lined up for this thing that I was planning on doing this weekend, if I still have power. Because I don't know if you guys know, but that big old hurricane, it's actually, as hurricanes go, it's not that bad. It sucks. Florida just got bombed. I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of people out of power down in Florida, blah, blah, blah. It sucks for them. We're getting that. Sergio! Sargento cheese. How is life? Yes, lots of mistakes. I made a buttload of mistakes yesterday and broke my CNC badly. But we're getting slammed by that storm. Actually, you're going to get slammed by it tomorrow too, aren't you, Sergio? We're getting hit tomorrow night into Saturday. They're saying that the winds are already picking up here. It's breezy out. It's not really windy, but they're saying it's going. I don't know if you guys know how our hurricane goes up the East Coast. America's over here, East Coast, coming up. Hurricane. If the hurricane skirts the East Coast and the land, if it stays on the eastern side of the land, you get lots of wind and rain, mostly rain. If it goes inland, but it stays powerful, so the actual coastline is on the eastern side of it, the storm goes to the west of the actual coastline, you get a little less rain, a lot less rain. You get a lot more wind. The wind, if you look at the arc of a hurricane, the left side, if you're looking at a map as it goes up the east coast, the left side of it is wind and rain. There's a lot of rain, a lot of wind, but not super duper wind. The west side is very little rain, but tons of wind. And we're talking like we're supposed to get hit really hard with wind. Like they're estimating like 80% power outages here in Connecticut already. Because you're supposed to be, the eye is supposed to go right up over you, right? I mean, not that it's an eye, it's just, I think it's just a tropical storm. It's not even a hurricane anymore. It's dying out fast, but it's still going to be nasty. So we're supposed to get a lot of wind, like a lot. Now, the good thing is it's been windy the last 2 days, and 90% of the leaves are off the trees now. There's like a few oaks, which sucks because oaks are the number one around here that come down in wind spot. Most everything but the oaks have dropped their leaves. And even the oaks are like 80% gone. You'll find a few like really tall ones that are still in the sun longer, so their leaves stay longer. You know, if they're not in a valley or they're tall, or so they get more sun exposure, so they stay leafy longer. They still have leaves, but yeah, I have a feeling. I'm guessing about a 50% chance I'm going to lose power Friday night into Saturday. It's like a 50-50. We did a lot of work after the big windstorm 2 years ago here, and they've been doing it ever since. We used to be 10 feet off the power lines. We're 15 and a half feet now, and they went 30 feet above and below. So a lot of the branches that fall are now not going to fall, if that makes sense, because they've cut them back more. I don't have a generator. Actually, I do have a generator. All I need is a fuel frickin' cock for it. It's not even that old. My neighbor gave it to me like 3 years ago. I haven't even tried it. I'm sure I can get it running with no problem. I didn't even think of that. I mean, it's a little one, but I can keep the refrigerator going with it, and/or one heater. I have a propane heater if it comes really down to it. I don't think it's supposed to get cold after it. Yeah, well, they grab up all the light. They also grab up all the wind when you have hurricanes. Pine trees, regular old pine trees, and oaks are the number one around here that do, damage. Your birches usually break. They don't like come down as a tree. They usually will break off branches. Cedars just don't move unless they're in a bad soil that they uproot the whole thing. Cedar, if you got hurricane threats, cedars are some of the best. Because you just can't, cedars just don't come down. They bend and flex and just do everything. They just don't come down. I've seen a few down, but again, it's usually because the soil they're in is like stupid soft, or it's right on the side of the like a riverbank or something, so it's always eroding. But cedars hold forever because cedars have the umbrella with a spike root system. The roots in cedars there's like a tap root that goes straight down, but then they umbrella out, so they have both. Oaks kind of just umbrella out, so when they come up, there's no taproot. So if the ground around it comes up, it just comes up. And cedars are just weak. They usually don't come out of the ground. They usually just break. Regular old pine trees. Pine trees just break. Yeah, I don't worry about like food and stuff because I got the gas grill, which I got to remember to bring in. I'll bring that in tonight. We're not supposed to get like ridiculous. I mean, this isn't like a hurricane. This is just going to be a windstorm for us. We'll probably get some wind and rain, but we're supposed to get 50+ mile an hour winds, which generally means I lose power. Some branch will come down somewhere. and it'll knock the power out for a day or two. I'm not expecting like a big long week long power outage. It'll probably be a day or two, but I'm expecting power out. I'm not even gonna worry about my mother. If we only lose it for a day or two, she'll be fine. She'll live for a day. I'm not that concerned about it. I should frickin' load up on some water so I can flush toilets, but that's about it. And I don't even load up. I just take my 5-gallon buckets if I know it's gonna rain. I just leave my 5-gallon buckets outside. They fill up with water when it rains. I don't have to go hunting for it. Leave a couple 3 5-gallon buckets out. That's the other one good thing is our well is a pressurized well. We hit a spring. It's only like 3 pounds coming into the house. But if our well pump goes out, I still get water pressure. But like I said, it's only like 2 or 3 pounds. Like if you flush the toilet, it'll take like 12 hours for it to get enough water back up to the toilet to frickin' fill it up again. But it will do it eventually. So like if you flush the toilet, you can just leave it and it'll eventually fill back up again. Most of the time. It has been lowered. I haven't actually checked the pressure on it with it off because we used to have a dam back here that went 3 or 4 years ago in the flood, and now the water level is lower, which I have noticed because I've been sucking sand more often. Plus, we were in a drought all summer. We're kind of out of it now, but we've got plenty of rain, but we're still low for the year, which will make the ground is saturated enough, but the actual water level is low. But even that, it can't be that low. I'm only a mile from the shore, and I'm only about 50 feet above it. I'm only like 50 feet above sea level sitting here, maybe a little more. And my well's a 120-foot well. So I'm below sea level with the well. So there's always water. I've never run out of that water. We've had droughts where all the city line waters, that use reservoir, because even though we're a small town, most people have wells. There are a lot of small communities here because it's a beach. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than if you put a well in, you have to have an acre and a third. All the beach communities are 1/3 acres. So you actually have 4 lots in what is my one lot. You have 4 houses. So you can't have a well because you can't have a septic. Everything has to be city or community. So we have a lot of community septics and community wells that are generally just little ponds. They're not actual wells. They're community waters. So their water runs out if we get in a drought. Mine, like, never. The ocean has to go away for my water line to go out. I'm far enough inland. I'm about a mile off the actual sound. The water is right at the end of the driveway, but it's fresh water because it's the swamp. It's the feed into the swamp. So anything at the end of my driveway, and there's a baby like 2-foot waterfall. So I never get any salt water backlashing up to me from the sound. It's all fresh water. It's not even brackish. Because even it's like a 2-foot waterfall even at high tide going into the swamp. I mean, it's about that tall, but that's at high tide. At low tide, it's like 3.5 feet, 4 feet maybe. So I never get brackish water coming back. So my well stays clean, and I don't have to worry about salt water back feeding into my well through the soil. What's up, Stone Monkey Research? How is life? Long time no see. How you been, man? So yeah, we're supposed to get hit with it. You're actually supposed to get hit harder, aren't you, Sergio? I mean, again, it's going to be a bad storm. It's not like we're getting hit with a hurricane. It's not really that big a deal. But I'm not even going to do anything. The only thing I am doing, it's funny. Everyone, they're running out and like, get bread and milk, get bread and milk. I'm like, I get nothing. If there's a storm coming and I think I'm going to lose power, I buy no food. I've actually been short food. I've been trying not to shop and the refrigerator's kind of empty. But 2 or 3 days without power, I have enough food. And you know what I don't want? I don't want a refrigerator full of food to go bad. And actually, I'm kind of upset because last year we didn't lose power. We almost always lose power for a day or two this time of year, usually earlier. This is late for us for hurricanes. We almost always lose power at least once a year in this fall for some hurricane or storm comes up and wipes everything out and knocks the power out. That's when I cleaned my refrigerator. I never got to clean my refrigerator this year. So I'm hoping we actually do lose power because I haven't bought any food and the refrigerator is probably 70% empty right now. There's some stuff in the freezer, but that I can just put in the cooler, which I'll have to get the cooler out. There is a cooler here somewhere, so I should probably rinse that out today, even though because we're not supposed to get hit till late tomorrow night after dark. So if I clean the cooler out now, I can dry it out and everything, and then just if we do lose power, I can just chuck everything into the cooler, and then I can clean my refrigerator. I always try and think positively of storms. Everyone gets all upset. My only issue with a storm and losing power is my mother at this point, because she just, she's elderly and has issues, and her not having power is a big issue. I mean, she's not going to like die or anything without power. But I can live without power for weeks. So, I used to go camping, and I'm older and much less comfortable about it. But I get, I'll survive. I'm not too concerned about me. But more than a day or two, I got to truck her somewhere where people can take care of her, because I can't keep her here without power for any length of time. Again, 24 hours is not an issue. Anything more than that will be an issue. So anyway, this puppy is waiting on parts. This whole side is wobbly because it's not bolted in. Because the bolt broke. Yeah, no. I can't. Dry ice is an hour and a half away from here. There's no dry ice around here. I got to go all the way down to Bridgeport to buy dry ice. I used to buy dry ice all the time. All the time. He used to be into the whole dry ice and the smoke and the thing. And one of the guys I used to work with used to do a lot of big span buildings where we would take like land beams and trap iron in it. And we used to dry ice the bolts so we could have them extra, so they basically shrink. You'd put them in the hole in the iron through the land beams into the iron, and then they'd expand and they'd be super tight in the iron and not move, which was stupid. It's a waste. I don't know why that guy was into that. He thought that was a great idea. It's like it's not. You're not shrinking that bolt that much. You just not. You sink it into the land beam on either side with and not an impact like this, but a mechanic's impact, and you're sinking it into the land beam. It ain't going nowhere. You are not moving that bolt. But this guy made us. He used to drop the bolts, freaking dry ice, drill the holes in the land beam in the iron, all lined up, drop the bolts in the dry ice, and then flip them through the hole, let them warm back up, and then bolt them up. Which I thought was just whatever, but he was into it. So we used to use them a lot back in the day. I thought it was silly. Kind of told him that more than once. He's like, yeah, but we can get it tighter in the hole and everything because it shrinks the bolt and the nut goes on easier. It's like, yeah, but you're not even putting the nut on, because if you put the nut on right away when it's that cold, you'll probably just crack the bolt. So you're just wasting time and money. But yeah, dry ice is too far away. It's all the way down, and I think Bridgeport is the closest place I can get dry ice to here. I go up to Hartford. It's a good hour away in any direction for me to get dry ice. Ain't worth it. So anyway, this thing crapped out, and I'd cleaned it like an hour before that, which go figure. Every time I clean something and be like, ooh, it's gonna run smoother and better, something breaks because I cleaned it. I like vacuumed and scrubbed and cleaned and took all the wheels and took a toothbrush to them and got all the sawdust off them, like all of the little nylon-y wheels here. They all look brand spanking new on this thing because I scrubbed them with a toothbrush yesterday before I started cutting, and then 10 minutes into cutting it just snapped. I was very upset. So it's all pretty and clean. Even the electronics, I blew out all the electronics, took an air gun in there, went in, even took a toothbrush to them and kind of got on all the edges of the vents and everything, blew it all out, vacuumed out what I couldn't get with the air hose, cleaned it all up, cleaned up all the tracks, scrubbed them down, removed any goop and goo and sawdust and crap impacted into it from all the use. I have been using it quite a bit actually lately, multiple times a day in the last month. So yeah, and then I rebuilt that thing, which you can't see. But let's get into that. Let's do that stuff because that's what I think I'm actually going to do today is a little maintenance on all this crap because it hasn't had any in a while because I've been using it. So what I normally do is wax everything after wiping it down and vacuuming it off. So let's get the vacuum out and put a nice warm cord on it so I can go wherever the hell I want with it and do some maintenance and make a lot of noise. Let's make some noise, baby. Let's vacuum everything off and wax it. You know what? I think I'll use this, even though this will be hard to fit in here. This head's better. It sort of fits in there. Vacuuming, loud noises. Suck out some sawdust from inside. This is closed off. I don't know if it's closing it off. You guys can't see it yet. Yeah, I should do is take the belt off, but it's really, really easy. That's all I got to do to do it. Get the hell out of the way. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm vacuuming out the inside of the tablecloth. Nothing exciting. One of these days I might actually show this because I was kind of making like I don't know how to describe it, like duct work, I guess, for this for dust collection because it's an open body, and I started building it out of cardboard to figure out, you know, shapes and sizes, and then I was gonna like either make it out of plywood or I was thinking about 3D printing some panels and all that crap. And the plywood just worked, or the cardboard. Excuse me, it's all cardboard. Get on that pulley. Where's the pulley? There's the pulley. Come on, lean up, motor. God, that motor's heavy. Back down. Are you on the pulley? Seems to be moving the blade. Am I going the right direction? It is. All right. So that's somewhat clean. Let's move on to the fancy bandsaw that I just modified the fence on because they brag about their European fence, and to be honest, I don't really like their European fence. Vacuum it away. Get a little grease on my vacuum head. I've got to say, the vacuum system on this, like the uppers and lowers, are almost spotless. There's very little sawdust in here. There's like almost none. The vacuum port on this, I don't know, you guys probably can't see it, but it comes up right behind here, and it's got like all kinds of little channels and ducts that you can move around and adjust, and it basically funnels the dust right to the vacuum head on the back of that, and it actually works really well. I would say that's my number one happiness with that bandsaw is the dust collection. It's not perfect. No bandsaw is going to be. You're still going to get sawdust off the top, but I would say 75 to 80% of all sawdust that thing creates goes into the vacuum, which is like twice what the other one did. All right. Now the whole purpose of all this vacuuming is I am going to clean and wax the tops because they need it desperately. They haven't been done in a while. Wax. Finishing up a rooftop HVAC. Cool. Just in time for the hurricane to come along and blow it away. You know what? I'm not going to use paper towel. I'm going to use a nice clean sock. Because I got socks. And I believe I got scissors right here somewhere. What do I do with the scissors? Right here. We use a nice white sock. These are all brand new. We bought them for my father when at the end of his days. So I have like 3 bags of these socks because these were his favorite socks, and they made a big deal for him when he was sick. And they don't fit me. I don't really like this kind of sock anyways. So I have a couple of bags of socks I'm hacking up. I actually I have one already open that I gave to the home where he was at the end. And then I gave another bag to like the homeless shelter stuff. Let's wax and wax and wax the top. There's already rust on this. That's really pissing me off because the top of this thing was absolutely awesome when I got it. And it's already got, I mean, they're just the little freckles of dust, of rust, not dust, of rust. But even those suck. And I've been waxing it pretty regularly, but it doesn't get used as much as like the table saw does. I mean, table saw is pitted, but table saw came here pitted. I completely redid the top of that, but there's no way I'm going to get rid of all of it. But this was freaking gorgeous when I got it. And of course, living here in New England, on the shoreline, it's rather humid here, and things rust easier. than normal. There's just no way to get this off. This is obnoxious. I'm not really happy with the fence on this thing. This I made. I made this with one of the parts from the 3D printer. It's kind of hard to get off. Got to do this whole worky thing to get it off of there, but it's off now. I'll stop bitching about it. I do like the Grizzly fence better than I like this one. The Grizzly's fence was just nicer. Pretty much everything else about this table saw is nicer, but the fence was nicer on the Grizzly. I almost kind of wish I'd kept it and put this one on it and it on this one. But live and learn. Waxing away. I don't want to put more on it even, because I'm kind of taking it off as much as I'm putting it on, because I'm a dumbass. Really rub it in there. This is nasty smelling wax. It's kind of like the petroleum-based wax or something, I guess. I don't know. It's gnarly stuff, but it does help, and it makes the top super slippery. Super slippery. Super duper slippery. Yeah, be safe. I agree with Dan. Sergio, be safe. We like Sergios. Sergios are nice guys. We like safe Sergios. Unsafe Sergios are not good. And then this antique 90s, I think this is a 1996 Sears Basic Craftsman cheapo table saw. I shouldn't say cheapo. This is actually a nice table saw back in its day. But not my, I don't really like this thing. I use it, it works. It's a step up from my DeWalt portable, which I actually gave to my brother. He brought this here and he took the DeWalt home. But and it's more just for size. This is a little bit bigger, not even that much bigger. I can only cut about 4 inches longer or bigger with it. I also cut it because I didn't like it. It stuck out like another 6 inches, but it only gave you like 1.5 inches more cutting capacity. It was stupid. So I cut that down and lost, I don't know, a couple 3 inches, but it didn't really work anyways because it was too screwed up. More rubbing on the wax. I gotta get another can of wax soon. I'm like halfway through this. I only bought it 6 months ago. I use a lot of wax on this stuff. I normally do this way more often than I have been. I've been too busy. Again, because I live in such a humid climate, you need to keep on top of it here. Keep it all waxed up. All right, these two are done. Let's go over to the jointer. Actually, let's wax the slides. The two metal parts. You don't wax the nylon, but you can wax the nylon. That's aluminum. These are aluminum contact points. And let's go over the joiner, which is the big key. Get it out of the way. And all waxed up. Do I have enough cable? I put a cable extender on this camera so I can move it around more. So hopefully I can let you guys see more of what I'm actually doing here now. So I put one of these. Oh, it's not going to let me reach far enough, but one of those USB cable extenders. So if I lose the cable, it may be just because I unplugged the The damn cable. Yanking it around. Wax the back, wax the table, just wax the wax, everything gets waxed. What is that? That doesn't look like rust. That looks like something else. I don't know what it is, but it looks like something else. There's some schmutz on it. Schmutz. And I don't like schmutz. There's more schmutz on it. Where did the schmutz come from? Scratch the actual top like I almost did. Like I sort of just did. Not badly, but a little bit. Must have set something down with some glue on it. Or had something with glue on it that I fed through that I didn't realize the glue was still wet. I think I'm going to need a new utility knife blade here. Because I just destroyed that one. And a little known secret, you actually can wax the drum here. And the blades on these. And it will keep the schmutz from building up so heavily on the drum. It actually helps stop like the tree sap and the crap from sticking on the blade. You just gotta be careful not to. You have to push the cotton rag into the underneath of the blade. You gotta make sure you don't cut yourself because that sucker's sharp. It's actually surprisingly sharp considering I put these on, I sharpened them and put them on, and I actually did it myself, which is amazing because I am terrible at sharpening blades. And all three of these came out really good. Like, I was like all for the helical head. Ow! See? I just cut myself. Went right through the rag. That was a nice sharp one. Yeah, baby! Blood! Alright, moving on. My brother was getting the helical head. I'm going to probably have to get a Band-Aid because this is just clean cut, so it's never going to stop bleeding. It's not that bad. I was looking at getting the helical head. I've been looking at it since I've already got this thing because I just love the helical heads. But ever since I sharpened them, this thing's been running like smashingly. It's been cutting almost perfectly. That really was annoying. This is an antique. It's just sad to call this an antique. It's a 2001 model. But it's an oddball year, so the helical head's like an extra $50 for it because it's a one-off head. They changed the heads the next year. If you don't know, these Reliance, all the name brands, the Grizzly, the Reliant, a whole bunch of them. They're all the same thing. The only thing they did was change how the knobs were here and there. And that's basically it. Matter of fact, this guard is mostly Grizzly. I got to tighten up now because I overextended it. Silly llamas. Yeah. Do you expect anything else? I could take on Timmy DeWitt with my stupidity sometimes and bonking myself. All right, one more tool to do that I got to clean off first because I haven't cleaned it off is the joint or the planer. And I need something to push so I can take the hose right off of there. My custom hose mount works freaking awesome. Everybody, if you have this DeWalt planer, you want to download my little custom hose mount here. because it works freaking beautifully. And it snaps right on, and it bypasses, and it kicks the hose off to the angle like you want. It just does everything you want, and it actually works. Pick up some twigs and stuff since I'm right here. Let's where are my clippies? There's one. We rolling? We're rolling. Bring it over here where we can see it. The dwelt. Let's lift the dwelt way the fuck up in here. Way up. This thing's got like a 5 or 6 inch height. But it takes a while to get up there. 6. Needs an electric lift. Alright, that's high enough. Let's vacuum out the inside first. Oh look, blood. Oh, not supposed to show that on here, are you? They get all mad if I show blood. Let's see what it's like inside here. I had to buy a new dusty thing, dust shroud. I don't know, like a month or 2 ago, which was very unfortunate because it seems like every time I actually start making money with this stuff, I have to spend twice as much on it to keep making money. But it sucked up a knot from one of those oaks. It jammed in there, and it just devastated the dust shroud. It's actually not bad in here. You guys probably can't see inside of it, huh? Let me see if I can get you over there. I think I can now. Don't get seasick or anything. You can sort of see down inside there now, huh? It's a little dusty, but considering I've put probably a couple of 100 board feet through it, it's actually not bad. So we will try and stop my fingers from bleeding because I'm getting blood everywhere. And just vacuum it out real quick. Let's see what the blade looks like since we're in here. I just flopped them like a month or 2 ago, so it shouldn't be that bad. This shroud, I'm getting them taken out. Has a bunch of the original one. This is a brandy new one. The original one had broken parts. It also destroyed one of these little screws, which is why I now have a 3D printed one, which you can get on where is it actually leaking? It's leaking right here at the head, right here. You can see where it's leaking past the seal. There's a rubber seal here. It's really thin, but it's leaking right there. That's why it's getting sawed, because normally this thing is nearly perfectly clean inside. Or used to be. think I need to wipe these plates off. They got like goopies on them, which is weird. My finger's bleeding. And here I am going to go after some more blades. Cut myself some more. I'm going to use a nice part of this sock. Take off any excess wax and see if I can just clean off the top of these blades. Is that loose? No, it's just the sock hit it. And rotate. You clean off the top edge of these, which is actually, when this thing goes around and those little fingers cut, the top edge is the actual cutting edge. The bottom edge self-cleans, sort of, because that's where the tips go. So the tips go into that little part. I don't know how much of this head you can see in the camera, but there's a little concave in the body of this thing in front of all these teeth. So let me see if I can get closer. I think I can. There you go. You can see the helical head now. The tips go in here, and believe it or not, as this thing gets used, the underside is self-cleaning because the chips kind of scrub as they go along. I'm getting blood everywhere. But the tops, believe it or not, get coated with crap. Or that's how it seems anyways. I'm just guessing by what I see from the use of this for, how long have I had this head? I haven't even had this head a year yet. Just a year, just over a year. Had it like a year and a month now I think about it, because it was last September. I hope because Gene Fouchette, the guy we call the Gypsies, friend of ours that retired, they travel around in the camper and they just show up for a week here and there. They usually come in September because they like to go visit their family. They're from here, this area, Connecticut. So they go visit their families, but we have the big yard, so they can set up the camper and, you know, they could be here for 2 or 3 days. We don't even really see them because they're just in their own little world in the camper. It's just fine. But and they can use this as a home base, and which is peachy, and they're good people. I like them. Him and his wife are. Dean and Linda are cool. But anyways, they base camp here, and he's the one that helped me. I had the whole thing in, but I couldn't align both bearings up at the same time by myself. There's probably a way I could have, but he was here, and he's like, I'll just hold it. So that's what we did. And I'm just wiping off the goopies on the blade. And it puts a little wax because I'm using the waxy rag. So hopefully the goopies don't stick as easily. That's about it. This thing cracked too. There's like 6 screw mounts here. There's the clip here, the screw, and then there's like 2 or 3 under. They're all broken, which is probably where it's actually leaking from the most. Because as you can see, all the dirt is on the bottom side of this thing, right here. So it's blowing back out of this, but that's all right. It's not that bad, and it's way better than it was with the broken one. The broken one wasn't really holding to the body of this thing at all. It was all, the broken one's all broken right here. This whole like channel here, believe it or not, this is very important. This little lip, you can't even see it. This little lip right here is very important because it like scoops the dirt right into it. Sawdust. And it's all broken. All back here is broken in the other one. I saved it just in case I break another one because it's still better than nothing. If I suck another knot and this one breaks, because this one's definitely cheaper than the stock one. Like, it just feels cheaper. It's thinner. It's an aftermarket-y one. It's like $25. Because the stock one's like $60. It's just a freaking plastic tube. Doesn't need to be that expensive. But of course, being aftermarket, it doesn't actually fit as well, I don't think. But it works. Good enough. Good enough. Where's the hole? I know it's back there somewhere. Are you in there? You're in there. You know what I should do is screw the vacuum and blow this thing out. I think I'm gonna fire up the compressor and make more noise. Really blow it out good. Since I got it open. Put some dust in the air. What do you think? Should I do it? Should I make a lot of dust? Bleeding. Still bleeding. I'm going to have to get a Band-Aid for it because it just won't stop. It's such a clean cut. Let's fire up. Oh, crap. The big compressor's put away. Let's try the little baby one. Noise. Hose. Short, easy hose. Spray head. Lots of noise. How badly is it feeding back? This thing's got no balls on it. I love this little compressor, but it's a wimpy little compressor. It's great for pin nails and stuff. It's a quickie. That's actually quiet comparatively. The big one is much noisier. Like much noisier. Like 100 times noisier. This is noisy. My big one is big. It looks like your standard dual tank. It's really not. CNC used to make, I don't know if they still do, what they call a high volume compressor. And even though it's the 3-gallon dual hot dog one that you normally see, you know, you see the quarter table pancake, and then you see the dual tank, you know, everyone's got a dual tank the wall. Everybody has a dual tank hot dog compressor. The CNC one has a reclaim rate that is unreal compared to anything in the same price range. It's under $300, and it has like a 40 CFM at full open. It can maintain 40 pounds of pressure all the time. Like most compressors, if you use especially air guns, it like runs out of air. Even when the head starts up again and it starts pumping air again, it's still, you can squirt with a regular air gun faster than it can reclaim it. The CNC will keep up. It'll keep 40 pounds all the time. It's freaking awesome. Okay, you have to pressure yet? This thing is kind of slow. Yeah, it's getting there. I'm glad I did that. I would have made a mess of it. Got some crap out of the nooks and crannies that you can't get with a vacuum. And now I'm breathing through nasty freaking who knows what sawdust. Then I'm old and gonna die anyway, so I don't care. think I'm about done with that. Poor little baby compressor. Looking its poor little butt off. That's definitely cleaner. Is it perfect? No. Is it cleaner? Absolutely. No step. B direction. That means this is the back and that's the front. Don't need the duct tape on it. I don't know why there's duct tape on it. Oh, look, it's all bloody duct tape now. I got blood everywhere. Got little spots of blood everywhere now. I should just duct tape my thumb up, but I was hoping it, I mean, it's a small cut. It's deep, but it's not big. I was hoping it would stop bleeding by now, but it's a clean cut, so it's probably not going to stop anytime soon without a Band-Aid or something on it. So, wah. Is Twitch going to frickin' block me for having blood on my stream? Never know, they might, actually. They just might, actually. Alright. Let's wax the bed, get the blood off. Spots of blood. Smear the blood everywhere. I need more wax. There's not enough wax on my sock anymore. My sock needs more wax. Wax the bed. Wax on, wax off. I should re-level it because I leveled it and I don't think I tightened the screws up enough and they drop down again. Because I'm getting bad snipe. And this thing always had snipe, but not that bad. I'm getting really bad snipe the last couple of boards I threw through here. We got blood, more blood. Let's make a paper towel Band-Aid. How's that sound? Paper towel and blue tape! See, blue tape is good for everything. Paper towel and blue tape Band-Aid. What do you think? Thumb protector. Should have done this in the first place and then I wouldn't have cut my thumb. Yeah. Live and learn. You think after all these years I'd know that already. They've actually done that before, which is why I just thought of that again. And dumbass me didn't this time. All right, it's time to go and start wiping wax off. So let's go back to the bandsaw back there. And wipe the excess off. Although I should just leave the excess on this. Really upset about all these little freckles. It's got freckles. smooth. Now it's all slippery. It's all slip dippery. A little stitch in there. It's all sticky there. I just put too much wax on? Yep, I guess I did. Little maintenance here and there. Good for the tools. Let's do this thing that bit me. Because I'm a dumbass. Which explains a lot. Guess I gotta screw that back in. It must come undone. It's not springing back on me no more. Doesn't like to stay screwed in. And what's sad is the more you use it, using it actually unscrews it. If that makes sense, which it doesn't to me. They should have reverse thread it. So as you try and use it, actually no, it is. I can't remember. Did I get it past that? No, so what I don't get is how it's unscrewing. That should tighten it, but it doesn't. It loosens it. Okay, it's working now. And last but not least, back to the planer. And wipe it off. So it still looks wet. It is. The wax is still wet. So let's adjust the tables. Let's adjust the tables. Down there looks good. Want it just a little bit high. Not quite that high. There's the second problem. It's a crappy adjustment system. It's just crappy. The problem is the minute you put any weight on this, these things just slide every time. No matter how much you tighten them, it just slides down in the slot. But I guess they're better than none. They're just a tad high, like they should be. I mean, just a tad. You need to get some kind of like toothy lock washer that holds them better. These are way out. Mm. See, what am I doing? I can actually move this. It's on wheels. Why am I fighting between it and the jointer? Of course, the cord's right in the way. Yeah, it's not high enough. And it like drags it down as you tighten it. I think part of it is it's trying to go into its home that it already created, because it's got a spot it's been sitting in for too long that it will always try and return to, because that's its worn in spot. That looks better. That looks better. Probably not perfect, but it's better. Now it's dry. Let's wipe it off. Wiping all the dry wax off. So it comes extra slip dippery. I actually should have cleaned the rollers first. And we may have to re-wax the bed after doing that, because the cleaner is going to drop down onto the bed and remove the wax. So, once again, a dumbass. I'll clean the rollers, the pull rollers under here. Get any sap or sawdust or anything off of them. Alright, that's slippery though. What I can do is just put something like some paper towel under there. Actually, even this would be, well, it's not really big enough. Yeah, maybe it is. I can do a roller at a time. The problem is you have to flux the machine. There's no way to rotate these rollers without turning it on. They actually don't look too bad. I might not do anything more than just give them a quick wipe. This one I get about 80% of it. You just can't get the very top. Oh, there is the feed rollers. They're like a little rubbery roller. I just like to wipe them off when I do a clean like this to, again, remove any sap. But you can't really turn it without powering it up. So let's pulse it and then clean what I can't get to. Okay, I want to be able to look in there. Oh yeah, there's some crappies on there. And yes, I'm gonna unplug it because I like my fingers. I like my fingers a lot. I kind of like keeping them, even if I do slice them now and again on the jointer. What is that? There's a big old gooby on here. A gooby goo. Wow, there's a lot of goobies on here. Wow. Maybe I will properly clean them. I didn't think they were that gooby, but they kind of are. All right. That means starting over, kind of. Because if I'm going to do it, let's just do it right. Window cleaner. The only really safe thing to use on them. Rubbing alcohol is not really safe on these. I don't know if the window cleaner actually is either, but it's less of a dissolver acidy thing. What is that? Goopies. Of course, I pulsed it and the goopies went just out of sight. But there's definitely goopies there. And of course, I got window cleaner on the bed. Of course I did. Is that an actual goopy, or is that a dig in the wheel? I think it's a little of both. Might be some glue or resin or something jammed on the wheel. I think I got it with my fingernail, which is probably really gross, but it sort of worked. Let's give this thing another quick pulse and see if I can see anything on the other side. Everything out of the way, yep. Oh yeah. Almost looks like paint. It's white. Might just be resin from the epoxy resin that flaked off. Whatever it is, it's definitely bubbling up on the wheel. What do I have here that I can scrape that without like damaging it? Something in there, and it's on there. But it's starting to come off. I think it's resin. I really do. These little flakes of melted resin. When I feed something I've epoxied through here, they like flake off. You know, it flakes the way it cuts. I wish I could turn this by hand. I'm having to try and figure out where it is every time I pulse it. Yeah, plugged in because I'm smarter than that. Or I'm not smarter than that. Yeah, there's another white splob. White splob. I wonder if I can let you guys see it. Let's find out. Let's screw with the camera. Make you all seasick. Let's see, is that low enough? Probably not. Might have to go a little lower. Right around there should work, especially if I get a little lean back. Maybe not. Nope, gotta go lower. No, I don't think you'll be able to see it anyways, but we'll give it a shot. Can you see up in there? Sort of, but you can't really see the wheel, can you? What if I put light in it? Let's use my phone, and it's light. That help? Sure it does. See that white spot right there? That's what I'm trying to get off. It's like a bubble or something in the something stuck to the feed wheel. Yes, I'm using a metal thing, but I'm not actually pushing all that hard. I'm just kind of rubbing it back and forth. I'm not like digging it in. Now I'm pushing hard because I'm dragging backwards, but that's like in there, whatever it is. See if the window cleaner will take some of it off. It's really not taking it off. I don't know what the hell it is. I need like a plastic scraper because my fingernail takes it off pretty easily. But that's kind of rude and disgusting. But it is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do. I feel any other bubbles? One right here. Of course, it's on the back side. Oop, I can get it off. That's gone. I don't feel any other bubbles. Do the back. Can you guys see it in the back? You can sort of see the back. There's the blades, and there's the back roller. The back roller usually isn't as bad because, you know, everything's been chopped off by the time it gets to it. So a little diggity-doo there that just came off. I wish I could rotate this thing by hand. It would make life so much better. But I'm not feeling anything really on this side. And I can actually almost get my hand, in many places I can get my hand all the way around it. Like right here I can. I'm not feeling anything on it. So, I'm done. I think she's done. If nothing else, it's definitely better than it was. That explains a lot. Because I was actually having weird, it would like feed in and then it would cock sometimes, like do a weird maneuver. That kind of tells me that it's what am I doing? Oh wait. Turn the flashlight off. There we go. It kind of tells me it's got something on the feed roller. If it like starts moving in and then cocks it all of a sudden, that usually means there's something on the feed roller. Usually. To relax this area where I dribbled window cleaner everywhere. And actually, I got some sawdust in here. I think I'm going to try and vacuum up if I can. It's really in there. See if I can toothbrush it out. Make it so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing instead of just staring into the abyss of the underside of the cleaner. Now you can sort of see what I'm doing. Except for it's right here, which is on the back side, but whatever. There's some scoopies in here. And yep, I'm being anal. Usually when I do this kind of cleaning, I always am anal. Because that just makes life better. Makes everything work better. Just feels better to use tools that are clean too. I used to be one of those. Don't clean your tools. It's a tool. Just use it. Now I'm kind of like just the opposite. If I could afford someone to come and scrub these things on a daily basis after I got done using them, I would. Like anally clean them every day. I would. Because I just appreciate clean tools. They're just easy. I don't know. It's just nicer to work with a clean tool. Just makes you happier when you look at it and you're using it. You're like, oh, look how nice this is. This is a nice tool. It's not just a dirty old piece of crap. It's actually a nice tool. I'm getting a little crazy, but whatever. Getting a little out of hand with the cleaning now. But I like to. Like I said, I like a clean tool. And she's shiny now. All smooth and shiny. Nothing sticking it except for right there. I don't think I got all the wax off right here. I didn't get enough on. Because it's not. Put a little more down. Right there. I have a feeling I didn't get enough there. Let that sit for a minute. And then buff it off. Just not right? No, I am not right. I am far from right. I am very much wrong in every way, shape, and form. Yeah, it's better. Alright. I think we're done cleaning tools and waxing stuff. I can put the wax away. And then roll this thing back to where it belongs. I gotta build a port for this, because right now I have to open the garage door every time I want to use this and shoot the chippy chips outside. Did I lock the wheel? I didn't think so. Nope, I didn't. And it's gonna be too cold to do that pretty soon. So I'm gonna have to find a way to filter the chips so I can keep it in the house, in the garage, because it's just plain and simply going to be too cold, and I don't want to lose the heat outside. I don't want to have to open the garage door, and as you're using it, you're literally sucking nice warm air and throwing it outside, which kind of isn't too bright. So yeah, gonna have to fix that at some point. At some point or another. What time is it? It is 4:00, almost right on the button. Okay, where'd my garbage can go? Right there. I even made it. What do you know? I even made it. And I need a nice new blade for my utility knife, because I used the old one to play scraper with. Come on, you. It's hard to do without my thumb. blades back away in their little corner. Probably switch this one out too, since I got the blades out and I'm switching. This one actually needs to be switched out or just flipped over. How about just flipped over? Put my thumb back in this little thumb hole. Keep the blood from getting everywhere. It's not really bleeding as much anymore, but I know me, I'll hit something or open it back up or do something stupid because it's me. I've been doing this for an hour and 46 minutes already. Jesus, I didn't even think I was here half an hour yet. Everyone's left. There's only 2 people watching. That's just horrendous. Nobody likes watching me clean tools. Not that I blame them. I wouldn't want to watch me clean tools either. On that note, I'm probably going to kill it because it's 4 o'clock. And I'm going to have to go take a shower and make dinner in an hour or 2. I got to put the fence back on the bandsaw. Come on, get on there. Get on there. Come on. What is your issue? Why are you not going on? There you go. It's got an A-net fence. I used a piece of that A-net freaking extrusion from the old pumpkin build. Actually, no, that's from the Not From Puja that Chris Riley sent me, which was an A-net A83 model or whatever. But yeah. All right, I think I'm hitting the road. You all, what the hell just happened? I'm not even going to do the raid thing. There's no one really here. So you all have a great afternoon. I might actually, Matt German is streaming this afternoon tonight. I think it's late tonight, like 9 o'clock at night. I think he listed that. Anyway, I don't know. I might stream later. Dan might be streaming later. Are you streaming later, Dan? Are you even still here? I don't know. Anyways, look around. I'm not going to do a raid because it's a pain in the ass on this computer, and there's only 2 people watching. Probably one of them's on YouTube. Bye.